friends, your old pal Jordan the Lion. And like I said, we are headed out to Mississippi today. Ja is not gonna see me in video terms for about 4 or 5 days because we're gonna go make 4 or 5 vlogs, but I'm actually just gonna spend the night and knock all those out then. So Ja, I hope you won't be too mad at me because I'm taking off today to go to Tupelo, Mississippi to see the birthplace of Elvis Presley. Ja and I are both huge Elvis fans. Elvis is the upper echelon. I mean, there's like, if you had a rock and roll slash country amazing Mount Rushmore of prolific people, it would be like Elvis, Roy Orbison, Hank, Willie. I mean, there's just certain guys that I think everybody loves and everybody's fascinated by. And today we actually get to see where one of them was born and spent his first 3 years of life. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Watching the king eat his ham before we take off. The other king, not the one that we're gonna see his birthplace today. Yep, so obviously it's pouring like crazy here in Alabama, but it's supposed to be pretty cloudy and dry where we're going. Fingers crossed. I can't believe I'm finally gonna see Elvis's birthplace, where literally where it all began. I can't believe it. I'm sitting here listening to, I just can't help believing I'm listening to him singing "This Time the Girl's Gonna Stay." Dude, I don't know how you have that positive an outlook, but that's probably what made you Elvis. Welcome to Mississippi! 50 million fans weren't wrong, and neither were we, Elvis. We're almost there, baby. I don't know, call me crazy. Mississippi looks an awful lot like Alabama. There's our first sign, Elvis Presley landmarks. We're about 5 minutes away. All right, well, obviously we entered Tupelo. And check out this pool with the big rubber ducky. There it is, we've made it. Take a look at this. This is not the exact car, not the one that the Presley family drove, but this is the exact model that the family owned when they lived here in Tupelo. Old Plymouth. Pretty nice they were able to get even something close, let alone the same exact year and model. Man, I can't tell you how excited I am. I think Elvis is like the epitome of cool. When you can tell a fashion designer that's making your clothes, hey, make something like a karate gi that I can do karate moves in and make it look cool, and then it catches on, that is the epitome of cool.
Probably 2.
Yeah. Check that out. Well, we finally made it. The birthplace of Elvis Presley. Elvis Aaron Presley was born January 8th, 1935 in this house, built by his father, Vernon. Presley's career as a singer and entertainer redefined American popular music, and then some. He died August 16th, 1977, Memphis, Tennessee. Now I love this. Surrounding the house, before we even go into it and look at it, you have a timeline, and it tells about his brother, Jesse Guerin, stillborn at 4 a.m., and then Elvis came at 4:35, and then you move along here to 1936, family and home, survived devastating tornado. 1937, family began attending First Assembly of God Church, which they moved to this property, so we'll see that as well. 1938, family received commodities while Vernon was in prison. Home and car repossessed. Vernon was released from prison. 1939, sadly. Now, I believe when they moved out of this house, when Elvis was 3, they moved in next door with Vernon's parents. 1940, family listened to Grand Ole Opry on radio powered by car battery. 1941, Elvis entered 1st grade at East Tupelo Consolidated School. Family spent a lot of time apart due to Vernon's work in 1942. And then family reported income of
Wow, $1,232 and paid $12.56 in income tax. 1941, Elvis began singing specials in church. 1945, Elvis sang Old Shep at the Miss Alabama Fair and Dairy Show. And it just keeps going all the way around. But the plaques pretty much stop in 1948. I believe that's when the family moved to Memphis. So 1946, Elvis received a guitar for his 11th birthday. 1947, Elvis began listening to black gospel music. And, yep, 1948, the family moved to Memphis seeking a better life. So they used to not allow any photos or anything in this house. Everybody I knew told me, oh, don't even bother wasting your time. And then I called and they said, nope, we do now. We actually do allow people to come inside the house and take photos. So let's go inside the house that Elvis's father would have built for the family, and Elvis would have lived for the first 3 years of his life.
Rooms. It's the bedroom and a kitchen. Elvis was born in this room right here, delivered at home by midwife. Had a twin brother, but the twin was stillborn and they never had any more kids. None of the furniture is original. It is like what they had and placed in the same position.
There's a family photo, huh?
It is. That's the first family photograph. Elvis was 2.5 in that picture. Made in September of 1938.
And Vernon built this house, right?
He did. He borrowed $180, and his father Jesse and his brother Vester built this 2-room shotgun house.
Wow.
Then Elvis was born right here in this house.
Is this the original wallpaper?
It's original to the house, honey, but the Presleys never had wallpaper.
Oh, so it would have been, it would have probably been like, what, wood colored or?
No, they had newspaper on the wall.
Oh, newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I asked. That's very interesting.
Well, a lot of people use newspaper back then. It makes a good insulator and it's free.
Wasn't it, was the ink flammable? Was that ever a problem?
But they didn't care.
Oh yeah, guess so.
Wondered he had to burn a lot of houses down. It might have for all we know. But you know, they run a pilot program in Canada here about 5 years ago. And they ground up old newspaper, treated it with fire retardant, blew it back into people's houses for insulation, and it saved 40% on heating costs.
Wow.
Now that's a good saving.
Yeah, it is.
Nobody had an allergic reaction.
2-bedroom house. Thank you for the tour. This is great.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you coming in.
Got 5 of us.
There you go.
Now let's go outside and take a walk around the house so you can see the whole house.
The house is original.
Isn't that crazy? Just 2 rooms. The greatest performer probably ever was born in 2 rooms. Okay, so there's the front of the house again. Let's take a walk around. There's another plaque over here, and we'll come back and sit on the swing before we leave. I have to. I mean, what am I gonna do? Come to Elvis's house where families gather at the end of the night and not sit there? Heck no. Now this one says, the Elvis Presley Birthplace Park was begun with proceeds Elvis donated from his 1957 concert at the Mississippi Alabama Fair. Unchanged since it was built in the 1930s, the 2-room birthplace sat unoccupied and in poor repair. As Elvis rose to stardom, thousands of fans began coming to Tupelo to see the birthplace and wishing to see inside the house, seeing a worthy project for the park, and the city members of the East Heights Garden Club took the initiative to open the house to fans. While members scrubbed and painted, their husbands made structural repairs needed for the safety of visitors. Requests for period furnishings were published in the local paper. All items in the refitted home were donated by area residents. When the house was opened in 1971, Garden Club members served as volunteer hostesses, often meeting fans outside Tupelo to guide them to the Birthplace Park. Today, the house stands as a memorial to the humble beginnings of Elvis' amazing career and a fitting tribute to the vision and dedication of the women of the East Heights Garden Club. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for preserving this. You can just imagine if he wasn't as famous as he became, this house very easily would have just been demolished. I mean, nobody these days really, really buys 2-room homes, you know, not generally. So like I said, they moved his church to the premises, and they have a really great statue of him when he's 13. So now you've pretty much seen a perimeter of what being at the Presley household. And, you know, he was 3, so he probably did play in the front yard a little bit. Everybody loves Elvis. Here we are on the Presley family swing. They were a very, very close family too, as you may all know. He moved his parents to Graceland, and they all lived together pretty much till the end. I mean, he did eventually get Vernon his own place and everything, but they always had rooms inside Graceland. Elvis truly was the epitome of rags to riches story. I mean, when you see Graceland, I mean, it's eye-popping that someone that was born and had their life started there was able to accomplish everything he did. That, holding his guitar. And they have a little plaque at the foot. Elvis at 13. That is great. Very cool. Yeah, I highly recommend making the trip out here. Elvis country, raised on country here in Tupelo, first introduced as the Hillbilly Cat, then by R.C. Victor as the hottest new name in country music. Elvis Presley's revolutionary musical mix always had country as a key ingredient. Appearing on the country charts over 50 times, Presley's music pushed traditional country towards the modernizing Nashville sound, which followed the pop, if not the rock and roll path he'd fashioned. Elvis would record the country songs he loved throughout his career. And then straight ahead over here is the church. Yeah, Elvis was, I said prolific in the beginning, that's like an understatement. Even though he didn't write all those songs, he was constantly recording, constantly doing music, and he was supposedly a pretty fair piano player as well. And this plaque is Elvis's influence on the blues. Elvis Presley and the Blues. Elvis revolutionized popular music by blending the blues he first heard as a youth in Tupelo with country, pop, and gospel. Many of the first songs Elvis recorded for the Sun label in Memphis were covers of earlier blues recordings by African Americans, and he continued to incorporate blues into his records and live performances for the remainder of his career. And for me, nothing beats Elvis live. 68 comeback special, live at MSG, live in 75, they're all amazing. Elvis Presley's childhood church. Attend a Pentecostal church service where Elvis first fell in love with gospel music. Elvis's birthplace presents a unique experience in the First Assembly of God Church where Elvis and his family regularly attended services. The structure was originally 1 block away on Adams Street. To make way for a larger building, the old church was moved across the street and turned into a residence. In 2008, the building was moved to this site and restored to its original condition. Pentecostal congregations were known for their extended services. One neighbor recalls sitting on the porch on a hot summer's evening and hearing the sweet gospel singing continuing until late into the night. This 15-minute production takes you back to a typical evening service in 1940. Now there's them moving the house, or the church, and what they mean by that is every half hour they do a presentation inside the church of what a church service here would have been like. So we have a ticket to go in there. I don't know if I'll show you that much of that one, but now we are going to walk over to the outhouse experience here on the grounds. This is a replica of an outhouse that was typical in a poor southern neighborhood. Oftentimes a single privy was shared by several residents. The original outhouse, located behind the row of rental houses along Saltillo Road, was also shared by members of the Assembly of God Church. Looks like it's a one-hole. That's what they call them. Well, they just opened the door, so I want to go in and at least look at what it looks like inside. There it is, Elvis's church. How cool is that? The piano and everything.
In 2008, our Presley Foundation bought it, moved it here on the grounds of the birthplace, and had it restored. This pulpit is the only piece of furniture we have that is original. This is a reenactment film of Elvis going to church one Sunday night when he was learning to sing. We ask you not to make pictures or do any recordings during the film. You're welcome to make pictures afterwards.
Wow, just to think, this is where he learned to sing and where he learned to play guitar. That is so cool. That was a really neat experience. They have giant projector screens that come down on 3 out of the 4 walls, and then the one going towards the front, you can see the preacher and everybody up there, and then when you look to the side ones, you can see all the people that would be sitting next to you. And this is, you know, Elvis was not only a guy who mixed his music to make his own music, but he also mixed his religion. So he was not only Christian, but he also had spiritual beliefs in transcendental meditation. And he used to go up to the Self-Realization Fellowship Center in Los Angeles when he was, I think it was like in the 60s when he was doing movies and stuff. His hairdresser Larry Geller kind of got him into that. So he was very interested in all forms of spirituality. Many of you know that I was friends with Shelley Winters while she was still alive, and she was good friends with Elvis Presley, going all the way back to when he was making movies, and she was telling him, hey, you're a great actor, you should quit doing these teeny bopper pictures and study, be a real actor. You're a great, she even told me, she said he could have been as good as James Dean or Marlon Brando if he applied himself and went through the teachings and everything. But she said Colonel flat out told her, quit filling his head full of that kind of stuff. The kids want to see him in teeny bopper movies, that's what he's gonna make. But she eventually ended up playing his mother in a made-for-TV movie called Elvis, starring Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell was Elvis, and she told me a great story, or a very interesting story. She said when we were filming that movie, for one thing, she said it was the first movie that was ever made for TV that was so popular, they put it in the theaters afterward. And she also told me that while they were filming that, she helped coach Kurt Russell in how Elvis really acted, how he behaved, his mannerisms, and she said he got it down so pat that when they were filming the movie, she said there were people that were driving by and they looked over and they ended up crashing their car because they thought it was Elvis. They had that moment where they forgot, and it was just so believable that, yeah, what a crazy story, huh? And I mentioned the interest in the Self-Realization Fellowship Center. He liked to go there because he really liked the reflecting pools there, and that was a great place to meditate. So he ended up building, or they ended up creating the same idea at Graceland. And they have a reflecting pool up here I want to check out, also with a statue of Elvis. And one of the things I love most about Elvis is just his 100% authenticity. Whether you liked what he did or not, it was 100% him. What he liked, what he wanted to do. Taking guns to the White House. Take a look at this. How awesome is this? They have a timeline of Elvis's life behind him, and then right here, a very young Elvis with his guitar, and then the classic, epic, legendary the detail is just amazing. God love him, look, he's wearing a lion. Even though he says in Teddy Bear, don't want no tiger, because they're too tough. Don't want no lion. Can't love them that much. That is awesome. And there's the timeline of him going to get his bicycle and get a gun, and instead he got a guitar as a little kid. And then the entertainer, Suspicious Mind Elvis, Karate Elvis. Hooah! Alright, let's go check out the reflecting pools now. Fans are invited to pause for moments of quiet rest amid the beauty of nature. This peaceful garden offers a time to reflect on Elvis' boyhood, the early years of the journey that made him into the amazing man he became. Perhaps reflection on the first 13 years of one of One's own life will bring to mind families, communities, special individuals, and other influences that have shaped your life. Oh, this is great. Even have a little bridge over there. I'm 100% sure I just heard a shotgun blast go off. This eerily is similar to the Self-Realization Fellowship Center premises, where incidentally not only Elvis used to go, but it's where they scattered the ashes of Tom Petty and George Harrison as well. Tell you what I'm thinking about right now. American Trilogy, Suspicious Minds. All shook up. It all started here. Now I'm gonna head inside, take a look at the museum. Alright, I got 2 bags worth of souvenirs. I'll show you guys later what I got. We're gonna head out of here. Somebody actually sent me a donation yesterday and said, Jordan, I know you're gonna be traveling and I know you're gonna buy t-shirts, so let me buy you one of your shirts. So thank you for the shirt. I ended up buying 2 here. I couldn't help myself. Then I got a handful of postcards for my Patreons this month. I got myself a TCB necklace since I've never had one. I got a Elvis coin purse to put these guitar picks in, and of course some Elvis guitar picks. Well, my friends, we're gonna call it a day. Thank you Justin Bode, Dawn Mentz, Randy Fackler for all becoming Patreons. We will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night and goodbye.